Home is where the heart is and where you should be laid to rest. But that can be tricky when you live in the diaspora. It's expensive and bringing a body back can be complicated, turning a peaceful farewell into a nightmare. But with EcoShore Diaspora Funeral Cover, you can prepare your final trip back home with ease. You can add dependents, giving you all access to a payout to help with financing a funeral. Sign up for EcoShore Diaspora Funeral Cover today by visiting www.ecoshore.co.zw/diaspora.
Is that a breakup? I think we have a situation right here. On the filling station.
Hello?
Hello.
What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Great, thank you.
You're sounding a bit formal. I'm scared. What's going on?
Oh my gosh.
Relax.
Oh gosh.
Relax. Welcome to the feeling station.
Thank you so much. How are you doing?
Doing good. For those listening to the podcast for the first time, it's a romantic family and friendship breakup podcast showcasing stories that people would like to talk about with a view to give you lessons from their experiences. Now, I hope you find today's story entertaining, but more importantly, meaningful. And if you're new, especially in 2025, the podcast is popular for two main reasons. The first being I do my best to keep my guests anonymous, which brings me to the fun part, my friend. Are you ready for this one?
Yup.
Right. So I'm giving you a name that you're going to use for the duration of the episode, and your particular name comes from either Gambia or Senegal.
Okay.
And it's a really easy name. Well, for me at least. The name is Fanta. Fanta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now don't be getting excited about the soft drink. because the meaning has nothing to do with anything juicy or drink.
Oh gosh.
It just means beautiful day.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit flat, but hey, I like the name though. Fanta sounds nice for me. It sounds fantastic. Catch the pun, yeah. Right, and then what name are you giving the person you're going to talk about today?
Okay, so I'm gonna be a bit boring.
Mm-hmm.
The name I've given him is Batu.
Oh,
I feel like yes. I think.
What's going on with this Batu thing? Because there's a Batu character like 2 episodes ago.
Yes, exactly. So Batu is Batu. I think Batu are doing the most. It'll eventually make sense why we chose Batu.
Am I missing something about the name Batu? Is Batu actually a thing, like in Zim? It is?
It is. I think it is a thing. Like maybe when you have like 2 children, maybe twins.
Yeah.
You become Batu.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Hey, you learn something new every day, huh?
Oh gosh.
Okay. Yeah, well, exposure is good, Sha. I'm still on just one child, so maybe that's why I'm not known as I've never been called Bawan.
That doesn't make sense if it's Bawan. It has to be the 2 of them.
Okay, cool. So this is about Fanta and Batu, and the second reason why the podcast is really popular is they're real life lessons that people learn from their experiences that you're going to share today. So what would you like somebody listening to this episode to walk away with?
Okay, so firstly, you need to learn that trust is earned.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, if you force things, you will be forced to learn the hard way. Yes.
Didn't mean to laugh, but I get it. I get it. All right. And number 3?
Number 3, your family and loved ones always know when something isn't right.
Yeah. It's always people from the outside, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
And you're so close, you can't see anything.
Yep.
Number 4, his friends are not your friends.
Yep. We should actually have a discussion about this, that should your partner's friends be your friends, yes or no? Because I have people who strongly believe, yes, they should.
It feels like that. Like you can out with them so much, but when it's time to like, they're not your friends.
Yeah, period. Yeah. If that's simple, you don't even need to justify it. They're not your friends.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
And then number 5, Always look out for yourself. Work on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're a priority.
Amen to that. I got lots of people I'm encouraging to put themselves first, put number one first, because if you're not putting yourself number one as number one, the other person is already doing that themselves.
Yeah.
So
And how
so why not do the same too?
yeah, and how do you love someone when you can't even love yourself? Now you're just
Oh yeah.
taking advantage of yourself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Are those the 5 lessons?
Unfortunately, I have two more.
Rotted. Okay. Right, number 6.
Number 6 is very short and sweet.
Mm.
Speak up.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
Okay, and then lastly, work on your traumas to avoid being triggered.
Oh yeah. And also to avoid triggering others, I think,
Yeah.
in the process. Right. Let me play those back. Number 1, learn that trust is earned. Number 2, if you force things, you'll be forced to learn the hard way. Number 3, your family and loved ones always know when something isn't right. Number 4, his friends are not your friends. Number 5, always look out for yourself. Work on yourself. You are a priority. Number 6, speak up. And number 7, work on your traumas to avoid being triggered. Cool. Fanta, tell me, where did you meet Batu and why did you decide you're going to give him a chance with you?
Oh, so I met Batu when I was in high school.
Mm.
I was very young. I was in Form 1. He was in Form 3 or maybe Form 4.
Mm-hmm.
I learned in a very small college kind of thing, and it was away from Harare. I lived in Harare. So we used to like, not commute, but we had like a bus that used to take us back home and to school.
Yep.
So I think this is where we kind of bonded. It was just one of those things. We were just friends,
Mm.
but there was an age gap somewhere there. And then at some point, I moved from that school. We continued being friends as people who lived in the same town or city. Then I think this is important. I was leaving the country and he lived in an area where the embassy was. I used to hang out with him, like we were friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I called him one day and I was like, "Where are you? Are you home?" He says, "No, I'm not home. I'm in town." He's like, "Why?" I let him know that I'm leaving the country and I just wanted to say bye because I'm in the neighborhood.
Mm.
He's like, "Oh shoot, how can you go before we date?"
Okay.
It's like my wife is leaving.
Nice.
How is that even a thing?
Mm.
I'm like, well, you delayed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so I leave and I'm gone for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I come back, I weirdly bump into him in town.
We coming back for holidays or?
No. I was back. Like I only left for about 2 years. It didn't really work out. Came back home.
That was a really short time. That time that you were traveling to go away, was that to go study, to go have fun? Why
I
such
was
a short
on
time?
was intern.
Internship.
Well, yes. So the
Okay.
idea was to go via internship and hopefully get a job, and it didn't work out. I tried my best to like make it as long as I could,
Yeah.
but it made more sense to come back home and try again.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I left, and then after those 2 years, I bumped into him. I
Mm-hmm.
just got back, honestly. Mm, so we hit it off again. It was now a thing of, oh, I'm in town. Where are you? So he has a shop in town.
Mm.
Yeah, to keep it, I won't really mention what he does.
Yeah.
So he has a shop in town, and I would go there to chill either when or in between errands. I'll just stop by. So it became like a frequent thing.
As friends would do, right? You hang out with your friend like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Mm-hmm.
became a frequent thing. But that statement he said before I left kept like coming back. We should do this one of these days. You and I should just date. It was almost like he's my friend, but he's trying to like get himself through the cracks and be a non-friend and be something more. So he then asked me out on a date. We went on our first date. It was so easy, mainly because I'd known him for so many years. It was just, you know, it's friends.
No, I don't know.
It
Because
wasn't like
because you guys are hanging around and you're hanging out with each other anyway. So why was this different? Why did it feel different?
Um, I honestly think it's because he kept mentioning that he wanted to see where it goes as a couple. I think that's what it is. Like, I was looking at it from a different angle because it was something new and I was used to him. Imagine dating your like a really close friend. Like, and you know that vibes are like, me and this person are we're good. Like, there's really no I need to know what kind of time is on, how funny he is or whatever. I already knew this person. It was
Okay.
almost very easy to start looking at him
In that way.
yeah.
Okay.
Only maybe because it was a thing he kept repeating, and I thought, oh, maybe I'm the one who's holding back. I'm stopping myself from finding my husband. Who
Right.
knows?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so after the date, this is when it kind of starts being weird, but I didn't pick up on it. So after the date, I do not even know how I ended up at his place. So I ended up at his place and we had intercourse, but I wasn't really there. There wasn't much, I wouldn't say there was much foreplay, and I do not know why my guard was so down. To be honest, I don't know why it was. I just kind of let it happen.
Now you've been on this podcast long enough to know I'm not gonna let that slide so quickly.
Yeah.
Because you don't just arrive at a man's house.
Yeah.
What were you doing before?
Like, how did I get his house?
Yeah, what were you doing before the moment you got to the house?
I was probably running an errand, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It was not one of those planned things. So he lived in town. I used to stop by more often because I'd be up and about doing my own things.
Mm.
So I stopped by his shop and he says, "Oh, I need to get something at my house. It's only going to be 2 minutes." So I left my car. I got into his car. We got to his place. He's looking for, I don't know what he was looking for. He gathers a box. He packs the stuff and then he gets comfortable.
He gets comfortable.
Yes,
But
he
what does that
basically
mean?
he switched on the TV.
Oh,
Like, we're
okay, yeah,
about
yeah.
to have a moment
Mm-hmm.
and he's now playing music. I've now moved from the little couch that's on the side. I'm now sitting on the bed.
How did you move from that? Did your two legs go one after the other, and then eventually they found themselves on the bed?
Yeah, because it was
Because you
honestly
made it sound as if you teleported to the bed.
no, I didn't teleport. I didn't teleport, but to be honest, like there wasn't even much foreplay on that. I honestly do not know. I kind of just let it happen.
So you do know how you ended up having sex, contrary to what you said at the beginning. So you don't know how you ended up getting there. If I'm reading you correct, you're saying
Mm.
you didn't quite expect it to happen because there wasn't foreplay. So I'm assuming foreplay is a key component for you to having sex with someone.
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
it takes away the enjoyment of the whole part, and
Yeah. I
I'm
I
not
I
saying it
totally
wasn't,
agree.
but it was like I don't know how to put it. Like, um,
Okay, don't dwell on it. It's okay. You guys had sex. Cool.
yes, we did, and
and at this point you're having it as boyfriend and girlfriend, right?
no, at this point, just dating, like it's not official. But at that point,
Mm.
that is when I would say we officially became official.
Without him saying it to you.
No,
Okay.
I maybe it's just me. Hey, do Zim men actually be like?
Well, I think I'm a solid and firm believer that men should say it because it makes them accountable.
Yeah, no,
And you guys become accountable to each other. when somebody
Yeah.
actually says it. Beyond that, before that, what's to stop him from saying that, hey, look, yeah, we did that. That was a mistake. It shouldn't have happened as friends. We crossed the line. Let's go back to being friends. But now you've lost a piece of you.
Yes. So we automatically became a thing at that point. Well, at least in my head,
Mm.
we became a thing. And for the fact that we had been hanging out more often and we had gone on the date, it wasn't really like more than 2 weeks, not even a week after the first date. From that moment, honestly, we were just a thing.
Mm-hmm.
He started introducing me to his friends that I didn't know of because we had mutual friends already as his girlfriend. So I guess that's when I became his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. Then I feel like when the relationship started, that's when things start to go sideways. One day, I stopped by. I don't know if I stopped by on an errand or something, or I just went to see him. And then he says he's got something he needs to do. Um, for some reason, he chose to use my car. So he gets into my car and we're going. I get a call from a friend who's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm driving, my car automatically connects to the Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm.
We're going and my friend calls. I'm happy, like, we're having a whole chat and a blast. I'm like, oh dude, I'm with my person. Can I call you when I get home?
Mm-hmm.
Chat. Oh, his demeanor changed instantly.
Okay.
He didn't say anything in that moment. Like, he just wasn't happy anymore.
Mm.
So we end up going to run his errand. We come back. I go home. When I get home, there's no joy in the relationship.
Mm.
He's telling me how he doesn't feel comfortable with my friend. He feels like our relationship is a little bit too friendly. And I mean, from the way I looked at it, it makes sense because of the way that we ended up being. We had been friends for so long, and he's
Right.
a guy, girl,
Okay.
so he feels like everybody has the same intentions that he had.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, I see that. And this guy, we don't really go way back like that. I'm just like, I don't mind losing him. Like, for love, you gotta cut some people off. So I genuinely call this person. I'm like, ish, bruh, the man them is not happy. Hey, Saka,
Hang on. Why was he your friend?
Batu or the guy I was
The guy from the phone call.
we just vibes. I met him at a carnival in Vic Falls,
Mm.
and we just hit it off. Like, our relationship was probably like 3-4 months old. I just met this guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was one of those.
No, I'm asking because I'd hate to be expendable as a friend.
Oh no, I just met him.
Mm.
Um, so it was just easy for me to be like, man,
Okay.
gotta cut people off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I was nice enough to tell him that, look, this is not gonna happen because the man is not happy. So we're gonna put you on the chopping board.
Mm.
Didn't put it that way, but like, I was really nice about it. So I let it go, but I didn't know to what extent this cutting off people thing is gonna have to go. But for some, it was just the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. I'm laughing and I know I'm going to let you continue in a second because this is relatable on so many levels for me. And episode 184, Amber Flags. Sorry, 183. My guest there, Mariam, got in a situation that's exactly how it started. Oh, who's this guy? Who's that guy? Before you know it, every mail from her
It's gone.
phone was erased. When we're not just talking friends, we're talking uncles, we're talking anybody who had a penis went.
True story.
And it didn't matter what the relationship was. So, and then I've been in a situation as well where I had to get rid of a lot of females in my life and in my phone book.
Which is crazy
Yeah,
to me.
it's nuts. So for you to then start saying that this was the first one and you didn't know the extent to which this is going, I'm like, relatable. Here we go.
And the first one is so easy because it was someone I just met.
Mm-hmm.
There, he probably also wanted the same thing.
Okay.
So yeah, it was very easy for me to get rid of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But as time went on, I genuinely have more male friends. Some
Okay.
people got yeah, so I had to let go of a lot of people. It started off as um why is it that every time someone calls you it's a man?
Mm-mm.
Um yeah. So it became, even if I proudly said, "Oh, I'm with my boyfriend," or "This is my boyfriend," to a guy, it was not enough for him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was willing to let go of all these people, or like at least distance myself to a level
Mm-hmm.
where, so that I could be in the green light with my man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we used to argue a lot. I've never been with a man who loves to argue. We used to argue over the smallest thing. For example, a man called me, now we're arguing, we're going back and forth, and then or I didn't check up on him. I was on a rost. I was on a alarm.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't call him in at least 2 hours.
Mm.
We're gonna argue because he wants to know where I am, who I'm with, what it is I'm doing. But he never had the effrontery to call me and find out how my day was going. When I would raise these um issues, it always seemed like there's nothing going on, man. Like, why are you making a lot of noise? He'd always have like something else to say. Like, you'd never win the argument. Like I said, he enjoyed arguing. And I'm one of those people who don't enjoy arguing. Why are we arguing? I'll just say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like,
Yeah.
let's get it over with and be happy. This is the whole point of us being together. Let's be happy."
When you were friends
So,
with him, before you guys started dating, he knew
mhm.
that you had lots of male friends, right?
He was one of them, yes.
So when you said to him that I've always had male friends before, why is this not a problem? What did he say?
I actually never said that.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know what was going on, to be honest.
Mm.
I honestly don't know. This is where lesson number 6 comes in.
Hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah. I get
This,
that. Speak up.
yeah, I may
Yeah,
have thought it,
yeah.
but with him, I was so weak, to be honest. It was just a matter of saying, no, fam,
So now
this
you've
is
been
not.
told to cut off all your male friends.
Uh-huh.
Is dictating and requiring you to report into him every 2 hours.
Yes.
And he's not doing the work to check in on you. And then he's
Uh-uh.
being very argumentative. How long was this into the relationship?
And not too long, honestly. Like maybe 3 months into it.
3 months in. Okay. Which is kind of young enough for you to be like, this is, this is a bit intense.
Yeah.
How come
And
you stuck it out at that point?
honestly, I think I was probably going through something. Maybe like a depression of maybe coming back home, not knowing what the next plan is. I think I was just in a bad space. Or it's just, I don't know.
He feels
I
like
just
he's a
kind
bad
of,
space anyway, so you're not doing yourself a favor from where I'm standing with this.
oh,
You're in a bad space about wherever you travel to and you're back. Then you're in a bad space in a relationship, but you're making it sound as if that was a good space.
I want this to work. I had made this thing in my head. I think it was in my head. I made up this, I don't know, this false happy relationship thing where we would look back at the pictures we took in high school and be like, oh, he's always. I think I had like this fairy tale relationship in my head
Right.
that we would be together. And he is someone who's, I wouldn't say popular. Maybe we would call him boys returners in Harare.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
somebody knows him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he would sell me this whole idea that I don't want to date all these other girls in Harare because they they want to be with me for who I'm known as, but they don't know me.
Mm.
He was selling this whole narrative of we've come a long way. Like you are really almost like he was convincing me you're really here um to be with me
Because I'm
as a friend.
known,
Yeah,
Ndiri boys, Zetonas,
yeah,
people know who I
yes.
am. I'm relatively popular, and I'm choosing you, so I'm doing you a favor. Yeah,
Yes,
okay,
kind of
right,
thing. And I'm
okay,
I'm the kind
yeah,
of person who doesn't even post on Instagram.
yeah.
I'm the complete opposite
Mm.
of what not really opposite, but what you'd expect is the kind of girl you'd expect to see him with is probably like maybe like a socialite or someone who's like very out there on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, post what you gotta post, get the content, but don't involve me in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there was that. And then we got to the point of him forcing himself, okay, into my family. I am the girl who will hide you even from my family
Why?
because I come from a family that just talks too much.
Okay.
They they have they have a an opinion about everything,
Mm-hmm.
everyone. They have something to say. They definitely gonna have something to say,
Okay.
mm, negative or positive. And I just really don't like people
Yeah.
whispering.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You didn't want that for yourself and for your person,
No, not
right?
at all.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing he did was get me to introduce him to my mom, and that was a big deal for me
Mm-hmm.
because I'd never introduced anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was like real happy. She's like,
So you
"Mommy,"
agreed.
I agreed.
Okay. There seems to be a lot of
So
things that you're agreeing to that against your interest or will.
on so many levels,
But why is that?
I don't know. Hey, I just let it go. I don't know what was going on. I was just everything he wanted to do, he could do. I probably thought something, but I just never spoke up for myself. Like I really don't know what it was.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I was just letting him, and then I was just his thing.
Okay.
And I feel like this is where lesson number 7 comes through, where um you should work on your traumas.
Mm.
I probably have like some not really abandonment issues, but I was just I don't know.
Okay.
At this point, once I let him meet my mom, I was so scared. Like, what happens if he leaves me now? Especially now
Mm,
that he's mom.
mm, mm.
So at this point, if you haven't noticed, I was literally his person. Like I was his plaything in the sense that I have to report to him as if I'm in prison every hour or 2 hours
Mm-hmm.
to tell him what it is I'm doing, who I'm with, even if sometimes he doesn't even believe me. It had gotten to a point where I take a picture. After taking a picture, I have to go to my photos, and then the timestamp and where the picture was
Ah.
taken.
Mm.
Where he says that does not look like the backyard Kumba Kwenyu.
Fanta. Wow. Okay. Go on.
You're the level.
Go on.
Yeah, so I would be taking what do you call them? I don't know what you call it, but like I'm giving him the descriptions of the time the picture was taken, where it was taken, what phone it was taken from, just to prove my location. Like, dude, why would I lie to you? It's not like you've been to every corner of our house. I'm at home. Or he would also speak to my brother, who is 4 years old, to make sure I was under some serious control. I was checking in.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Right. Go on.
Yeah. And the arguing is still going on, clearly because I have to, you know. So we started off by meeting my mom, and now my mom didn't really comment when it came to him. She just kind of was like so indifferent. She was not excited.
Mm.
She was excited to meet him before until she actually met him.
Mm-hmm.
She avoided the conversation of him, but then in my head, it didn't make me happy. And that was the first major sign. But at the same time, I feel like the control made me want to keep the relationship as well. Because I'd compromised a little too much. I'd given too much of myself.
Mm.
It was already too late for me to be like, let's let this one go. We're
So,
already in.
so in saying that, were you already now seeing this going to things like marriage and all that? Because you're like, I'm already 3 months in, it's too late.
Oh, at this point, it was already past it. Like meeting my mom was probably like maybe at the eighth or seven
Month.
mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could say that. But like marriage for me, even today, is not. It's not really like It's not on the table right now because me myself, my life is not. It's not together. So marriage is really one of the last things for me.
Did it feel together at that time?
Mm, yes, I was under the facade that my love life was amazing because when he wanted to, it would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not amazing, but it was okay. We
Okay.
had some good moments
Okay.
that yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are probably around January.
Mm.
We want to start a business together. Not really a business, but one of those side hustle things. It's Valentine's Day. Let's um let's do something real quick. And he has like a big name. He always does something on Valentine's Day.
Mm.
He has a brand. So anyway, he does this Valentine's Day thing. But this time the different part is I mostly did the dirty work.
Mm.
He wanted to buy like teddy bears and all of that. I'm a heartbreaking girlfriend, Shem. He asked me to jump and I jumped so high.
Wow.
Uh, I had to go and buy these. I went to town, like, these little malls. I'm looking for teddy bears. I'm looking for yo the works. I'm trying to get someone who's gonna get us flowers on the day because you know how Valentine's Day is. Flowers are hard to come by. I'm trying to get them at the right price. He's selling these larger than life Valentine's bouquet thingies with ranging from 250 to 400 US dollars.
Wow.
I did majority of the work and I did put in some money. So it was a 50, it wasn't really even 50-50, it was 50-50 in terms of money.
How much did you
I
put in?
did I put in the money. I'm the one who went to buy all of these things. All he had to do was say, yeah, that looks good.
Yeah. How much
Um,
money did you put in?
about maybe 600-700 bucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously my time I was walking up and down CBD
Mm-hmm.
doesn't also account for the fuel. Basically, I did maybe 70% of the work, and then
Yeah.
he used brand to advertise
Mm.
this whole.
Mm-hmm.
And after the whole thing, we got into a fight. I didn't get any of my money back.
What was the fight about?
I honestly don't remember. We were always arguing, to be honest. We argued about the most randomest things, and he would call me by a different name occasionally when we argued. So, let's say my name is Fanta.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then he would call me Santa.
Oh. Okay.
So for me, I just thought he's just someone who's bad with names because there's a friend of ours. He always like made a mistake like calling their name. So I just thought, it's a thing he does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's common. A lot of people are not good with names, but he would commonly call me the wrong name.
Mm.
So it's yeah, we had an argument. He got me the most subpar. Valentine's gift that I didn't even use. I gave it away.
What did you get?
I got this speaker from downtown. It's not even worth $10.
The Bluetooth device is connected.
Yes, those ones.
What are them ones?
One of those, and then I got this clock. This
Wow.
clock from downtown as well.
Wow.
What else did I get?
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah,
What did you get him?
I didn't get him anything. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I didn't get him anything. Yeah. Valentine's Day, honestly, I'm bad. I didn't buy him anything for Valentine's Day, but I did go out on his birthday, which was in December,
Mm-hmm.
which is a couple months before that. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Valentine's Day thing, I didn't even say anything again. There we go again. Rule number 6, speak up.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happened. After the argument, after Valentine's Day, we just kind of moved on with our daily checking in and all that nonsense. Then one day, we go to one of his clients' place to deliver something. So when we left this place, the client, they had a quotation for something worth about 1,200 US dollars.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he got about 700 bucks in cash.
Uh-huh.
And then I don't know what was going on in that day. For that, he had never given me anything ever. So he actually handed me like 50 bucks and he's like, for accompanying me,
Wow.
right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, nice. So I take the money and we move on. Couple days after that, we're chilling. I'm at his place. And then he's like, can you believe that client of mine, we delivered, they were not happy, they're complaining, and they want a refund.
Mm.
And then I'm like, on your invoice, don't you have like a clause that says a certain, protective statement or whatever? He's like, nah. And the thing is, like, you can't really do refund things. But anyway, he was like, he's willing to do the refund because these are like really important people, like politically involved people.
Right.
So he didn't want to mess up the business he has with these people. So he's like willing to give this client back their money.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is now, he says he's used the money for something else.
So now he needs more money to come from you.
No, he's not saying that.
Okay. Phew,
He's
thank
just
God.
basically telling me his story. So me being me, there's the very stupid girlfriend. I was like, look, I can't give you 1.2. I can possibly maybe give you like 450, And then you run around and get the. He didn't ask me. I just kind of felt like, oh man. But it was very stupid of me considering that the Valentine's Day money never came back.
Wow.
So I gave him the money and he was on some, I'll pay you back. Right? So now I'm expecting my money back. Honestly, I was just helping out my person at that point. But then he then mentioned Kuti. He's going to pay me back. He's all happy. I'm like, cool. So that story moves on. Couple months later, maybe like a couple weeks. I'm not really sure about the time frame, but yeah. A couple months down the line, he gets VIP tickets to go to Kamompela. She's coming to Zim.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I really don't have like interest in going to a club just to go watch some chick dancing and performing. You can go with a friend.
Right.
Right.
Is it because you're not into Amapiano like that?
Oh, I love Amapiano. He's the one who says he doesn't want to go.
Oh, it's him, not you.
Yes, it's him. He said,
sorry, gotcha. Yeah.
you can go to this Come On Pillar thing. I'm not really interested in seeing a girl, gyrating, doing all of that stuff. I've got a VIP ticket. It also comes with a bottle of champagne. Um, here's I'll give you the details on the day.
Mm.
I said, cool. So I call my friend, a girl. We've been friends since forever. Then we go to this. I tell her about it. She's like, "Cool, I'm there in a heartbeat. We'll go." So the day comes. I'm generally a person who doesn't drive when I know I'm gonna be drinking
Yeah.
or it's gonna be a long night.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna get someone to drop me into town, at his house, and then we go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Friend calls me and she's like, she doesn't know where this guy stays.
Oh.
Yeah, she doesn't know where this guy stays.
Mm.
So I said like the nearest fast food place that's there,
Yeah.
and we went to. We were actually in the car, to be honest, and we went to pick her up. So this was the point where I was supposed to leave. So there's him in his car. I'm with him, and then my friend is in her car.
Mm.
So I say to him, he gives me my tickets. And then I say to him, thank you. I'll catch you later, babe. You should come and pick me up at this time
Mm.
or when we're done.
Mm.
And then I could just tell that the mood was not,
Mooding.
yeah.
Mm.
I said something or I did something.
Mm-hmm.
Then I switch cars and I'm having a good time with my friend. So because it's like it was in a club, the performance was in a club. We couldn't go there at 8 p.m. in the evening.
Mm.
So we decided to go to like another, like a small, cute dinner place and just chill, have like a glass of wine, eat some food, and then we'll go for this thing.
Mm.
Before we could arrive at this place, I get a long paragraph telling me, you're so inconsiderate. This is what you're good at. Go
Mm-mm.
have fun. You didn't even bother to ask me how my day was going. I got clamped by city council.
Mm.
Um, he's on some I'm a horrible girlfriend kind of vibes. Yeah. So I
I
show my
mean,
friend.
why doesn't he tell you how his day was anyway instead of being prompted?
I don't know.
You know,
Maybe
the level of selfish behavior is way off the charts, and I know you saw that it's way off the charts.
at this point I was a bit. I was not a bit. I was getting to the point where I was. When you're starting to tell yourself, nah, this relationship is not it. We can try and hope.
Right.
Really nothing. I was at I'd had enough. Let's
Mm.
put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'd had enough.
Right.
I just hadn't gotten the strength to actually convince myself. But I knew that this is not it, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So even at this point, I was now communicating with my friend that yeah, you see these people on social media and you think, perfect.
Mm.
Hell no.
Mm-hmm.
So I show my friend and she's like, yeah, girl, this is not it.
Yeah.
This is reminding me of so and so. Her
Mm.
friend, her ex, like, nah, this is she just doesn't want you to have a good time.
Mm.
And I'm like, you know what? This is my person. Let me actually go there and like talk to him. Let me call him. Actually, let me call him. I tried to call him. Um, it did not go through.
Oh.
So the next best thing was literally driving back. I wasn't driving, my friend was the one who was driving.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, girl, just drop me. Can you just drive me to his place? We talk about this and then we can continue because this show is probably gonna start like at 10:30, 11.
Mm-hmm.
It's around 8, 9
Mm.
at that point. So she's like, cool. Um,
Mm.
we drive to his place. I get in and I'm trying to figure out what his issue actually is.
Mm.
To be honest, we were not fighting about anything.
Mm.
There was no story.
Mm.
But I don't know what it is that he said that got me losing it. At this point, I had had enough.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care if we were gonna make it out of this argument.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started yelling. Like I was telling him a piece of my mind. Anything I was thinking in that moment, I was saying it. And then that was when he decided to push me.
You pushed you.
Yes, he pushed me, and this is where I lost it. I also pushed him back. It turned to be a fight.
Mm-mm.
So we're throwing hands at each other.
Mm.
My friend has no idea because she's outside in the car. Um, so the fight happens. I give him back his tickets, and I told him, dude, these tickets don't. It's something I can afford. They do not. They're not special. I can go and pay for this at the door.
Mm.
Bye. So I
Mm.
give them back, and I go back to my friend, and she's like, "What happened? It's only been about 15, 20 minutes. What happened?"
Mm.
Um, I tell her exactly what happened, and she's like, "Girl, this man was gonna be the death of you. Like,
Mm-mm.
nah,
Mm-hmm.
let it go." So I'm trying to convince her to still go out and like not dampen the mood. Also considering I taken my friend, I let her leave her house. She's driving up and down for me. She at least deserves to go out and have some fun. I'm like, let's still do this.
Mm.
We'll buy like entrance at the club. Like it's not a big issue. We're gonna go. While we are on our way there, does brother boy not call my mother?
Ah.
Matthew decides to call my mom
Mm-hmm.
on. He doesn't mention that it was a fight because I did fight back.
Mm.
He tells my mother that Fanta is hitting me.
Mm.
I didn't do anything to her. She's just hitting me.
Mm.
So my mom calls me and she's like, "What's going on?" I'm surprised because now that thing that I didn't want to seep into my family, having people to talk about anything or anything to do with me and my
Like now,
life.
yeah, you've just given them the reason now.
Yes, now
Mm.
he's doing the most. At this point, he's not even a valid mukwasha at our house. I don't know why he's doing all of this, but my mom answered the call and she's like, "If you're really doing these things, please stop. It's not worth it." I tried to explain to her and I said, "I know this sounds wrong, but I'm still gonna go out and have fun.
Mm.
I'll see you when I get home."
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I went home. Um, I told my mom that I didn't want to talk about it. When I want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. She let it go. We moved on.
Mm.
The stupid me got back with this guy again.
Why? Because at this point, you have enough reasons to leave.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we go on another year going through these ups and downs. Then I decide at the end of the year that I wanted to do better for myself and to want to be in this relationship because I had lost weight
Mm.
despite it's supposed like being a happy relationship, everything well and dandy.
Mm.
I was losing weight because of constantly overthinking.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
I lost who I was as a person
Mm.
because everything that he said wanted, like if he said you wanted this to be done,
Mm.
I would do it. I lost myself. I couldn't almost think for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I just became a shell of myself. Let's put
Mm-hmm.
it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I decided that this was not it for me.
Mm.
And my cousin, who had forced herself into meeting him,
Mm.
said to me, "My darling, my name Fanta.
Mm.
This is not it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no, sorry. I 0 stars. Get out of there as soon as you can, like now." But you know, when you're in this relationship, I do not know what you're holding on to. I feel like the more you give of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
um, the harder it is for you to leave this relationship.
Yep.
almost impossible. So this December, I wrote down a whole paragraph of how I wanted to do better for myself in the coming year. So I actually went on and broke up with him.
Oh.
And it was over the phone because I don't think I would be able to do it in person. So I broke up with him, but we broke up on paper.
On paper, okay, right?
Yes, like in the sense that I didn't really have to check in on him and do the chores of the relationship.
Mm.
I was living my life without him, but our lives were still intertwined because I was still sleeping with him,
Mm. Oh,
fortunately.
right.
So a couple months after that
Mm.
breakup, I bump into a mutual friend from high school.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, girl, I heard you were dating Batu.
Mm.
Cool. Why? Yo, you dodged a bullet.
Oh.
I'm like, right? But I broke up. I had broken up with him, but we were dabbling and, maybe once a month. It wasn't really done. He was also still trying to get back in, and I was not there anymore. I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to distance myself. And I'm like, no, tell me more. Right?
Mm.
So she's like, he's been living with a really popular girl. Like let's call her a socialite.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. He's been living with so and so, she's pregnant. I said, what?
Rah.
He's like, yeah, they've been living together for months. At this time,
Mm-mm.
um, a popular vibey place.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's during the drinks. I just bumped into this girl.
Mm.
I'm like, wow, you know what? You and I should catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need the deets. Like, I'm not trying to really portray myself that, something um like you triggered something,
Mm.
I'm just making it seem as if I've moved on. I just want the tea on the details.
Mm.
Um, and I'd forgotten to mention that he occasionally called me Amai, which means mother,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
more like mother of my children. He used to call me Amai or Amai too.
Mm.
Well, that's where Batu comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so after this whole thing, I just continued with my drinks. I had fun. So now I get home, I'm trying to think. So this whole time, at some point, I couldn't go to his place. He'd always had like an alternative place for us to go. I'd really stopped going to his place for almost 6 months.
Wow.
But at that point, it didn't click.
Mm-hmm.
Also, because I was not thinking for myself majority of this whole relationship. I was so used to depending on what
Mm-hmm.
he had to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't going to his place for quite a bit of time. Um, So now I'm trying to get myself to go to his place and do some investigations and see, is
Wagwan.
this what
Yeah.
it is?
Mm-hmm.
So I call him on some, oh, I miss you. Like, we really need to do what we used to do. Like, chill, um, grab a couple drinks and watch something good on TV. He's
Mm.
like, okay, cool. He doesn't show up.
Hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He gives some stupid excuse. I don't remember what it was.
Mm.
But because I'm investigating for the greater good of
Of mankind.
yes, I'm now in detective mode.
Mm.
I need to find out if this person is telling the truth. I knew it was true because it was a good source.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mutual friend.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. I tried again. This time I went to his shop.
Mm.
And I'm on like, it'll be perfect. Just 5 minutes from here. Let's just go to your place, and do the nasty just real quick. He's like, nah, let's do it in the car. I said in the car. So
Wow.
at this point, I knew that whatever um I was told is true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at this point, I also had a secret I wasn't telling him because I was trying to distance myself. I was supposed to leave the country
Mm-hmm.
in a couple weeks.
So that was the
So,
secret. Leaving the country was the secret.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't know that
Mm-hmm.
because I was just trying to dip and like move on and do my thing without having to attach him in the whole equation.
Mm.
So I then come out to him and I say, look, I'm leaving the country. Um, I think that you and I should just have a staycation, right?
Mm.
The reason why I told him was I really wanted to go to his house and see for myself.
What would stop you from just turning up at his house anyway?
Um, yeah, he had moved.
Right.
So I only knew the outside of his place. And because I wasn't dating him formally, like I really didn't care to go
What,
inside.
what
And
What do you mean you're not dating him formally? He's met your mum.
at this, remember, I broke up with him in December.
Yeah, but
But exactly. So I don't do the girlfriend duties anymore. I don't call him. I'm living my own life, but we occasionally double and double, unfortunately. So I
okay.
didn't really care
Mm.
to know where he was staying because at this point I'm trying to distance myself. But now I want to know how
Mm.
deep this whole betrayal goes.
Mm.
I'm trying to investigate. And he says, cool, let's do it. If it's one of those for the last time, let's do it. I'm down. So I think I've made it.
Mm.
So onto the day of the staycation, he comes with can you please give me like 120? I want to book a hotel room.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, so this is when I lost it. I said, no, it's cool. You can come. He also said he was gonna give me back my money, but at this point I knew it was not coming back. So I was like, it's cool. You can come to my neighborhood. I'm running an errand. We'll meet halfway and I'll give you the money. This was when I had planned to confront him
Mm.
because I didn't have time with the emotional energy to be going back and forth with him.
Mm.
So we meet at a gas station, garage. Don't
Mm.
know which one.
Mm.
So we meet there and then I get into his car. Um, and then I ask him, oh, what is this that I'm hearing that you and, let's just call her Charmaine.
Mm.
You and Charmaine are like living together and there's rumors of a baby or something like that.
Mm.
Then he goes, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, me and Charmaine have a baby, but that's like from Kudara. I'm like, what do you mean from
Mm.
Kudara? He's like, yeah, from Kudara, like in my past, like before you. I'm like, hold up. It's not making sense.
Mm.
It's not making sense.
Mm.
While he's saying that, his phone screen lights up. You know when you move your phone?
Mm.
Is it not a newborn baby on his screen thingy
Yeah,
thingy?
wallpaper. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, so let's do the math. Is this the baby?
Mm.
Is this the baby? He's like, yeah, but I'm like, you're saying this thing is like from Kudara, but like this baby,
He's looking
it
kind of
looks,
fresh.
this is a fresh baby. He's like, I'm like, okay, let's do
Mm.
the math. You and I have been dating for about, let's just round it off for 2 years. Are you telling me that this girl was pregnant for over 2 years? He's like trying to get himself out of it. Before he could lie, I was the aggressor and I pushed him.
Oh.
You know, when you're sitting in the passenger seat, I held his shoulder and I pushed him to the window.
Mm-mm.
So, people with a violent history, it turned out to be something else. Um, there was not a conversation had after that.
Mm.
So, I got out of the car and I got into my car and I went back home
Yeah.
and I was just like, I was trying to text him and tell him, like, you can keep your story. I don't care anymore. I've gotten enough closure
Mm.
from this. Then while I was trying to take this, press send, I'm blocked. I said it's fine. Also turns out I was blocked everywhere else. It's fine. But because his girlfriend is a vlogger and a socialite,
Mm.
he then posts. Remember, the child is already born.
Mm.
But people do this thing where they have their child and then they post after they've given birth. If not the next day or a couple days after that, she posts an entire vlog. I can see his old apartment from the time she said she was pregnant, how they went and did this whole second pregnancy. Like, I was taken through the journey of my relationship while I was on the back seat.
Wow.
Yes, that is what happened. And that was just the least. At this point, it's just a relationship. No one really knows who the father of this child is. And then when it takes wind, what does it do? It goes on to Zim Celebs.
Hey.
Yes, it goes on to Zim Celebs. Um, I'm just in the background watching all of this happen. On the
Mm.
day it goes on to Zim Celebs, oh boy unblocks me. I think he was waiting for me to come and shout at him and do the works. And turns out they had twins.
Ay.
So that's where Batu comes from.
Right. Okay. I get that now.
Yeah. Yes. So it was one hell of a roller coaster. It turns out I was not even the main girlfriend. I was just a,
Ja- yeah, a
I
side
was,
piece.
yes, a hardworking, well controlled side piece
Mm.
that didn't have a life of her own at the end of it. And it turns out, because the girl is a vlogger, now I'm going through the girl's page. Like, I really want to get all the details I've been missing.
Mm-hmm.
Valentine's Day, some of the things that I bought for that larger than life Valentine's 300 bouquet thing
Mm.
were gifted to this other girl.
Ay.
In the meantime, I got a downtown speaker and a clock.
Your time was
And
up, girl.
can
Damn.
you imagine? That's all I left. Battle scars of a relationship, and I gave away the speaker and the clock. Only after the relationship did people start telling me, "Kuti, we knew this nigga was off." Even our helper said, "Hey, fan, what you mean?
Imagine.
What? How? How?"
You know what? In my adult life, though, I no longer want to have those kind of friendships. The ones where if somebody sees that something is off, they choose to be quiet.
Yeah,
Especially if maybe something for me is a blind spot. I'm blinkered by something. Come up to me and tell me that, hey man, I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel that is more a valuable friend and family member than
yeah.
the one who now thinks that after stuff has hit the fan, you now want to come and start saying that, oh, but we saw this, we saw that. How come you didn't see it?
And the crazy thing, I'm the friend that tells you, um,
Mm.
whether you choose to be friends with me after this.
Mm.
Yeah, this one is not the one, friend. They're not the one. Or if you're both friends, I would start saying a couple of negative things to get you thinking, if
Yeah.
I'm close with this person, why would I say these things?
Mm. Mm.
I'll give you a hint. If I'm
Mm.
stuck between the two people, I'll give you a hint. It might not be
Mm.
easy for me to come out and say, so and so is doing this, or this is not it. I will give you a hint. But anyway, we lived to tell the story, at least.
You did. You did. How did you? Did he ever come back to say sorry
Oh
for
no.
wasting your time or?
So when he unblocked me on what do you call it? On Instagram, the day they posted their things on some celebs, I I then blocked him because
Mm-hmm.
he had access to me when I didn't have access to him. So when he gave it
Mm-hmm.
back to me, I then blocked him. But I forgot one app. I forgot TikTok. So
All
he
right.
occasionally comes to just, peekaboo. TikTok tells you so and so has been on your on your like your account, and he likes a video or two, like an old video. He just likes
Mm-hmm.
it. He unlikes it and likes it again.
Right.
Just
Okay.
to see if I'm
Right.
gonna give him the time of day. But
Mm.
those days are gone. Um, yes,
Interestingly, enough in this thing, it's well, I wanted to say it's a 50-50. It's not quite 50-50, but there's a lot that you allowed him to get away with.
yes, that's true.
Um, so he took advantage of it because he knew he could, and because like your lesson number 6 says, you weren't speaking up. Yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, it's true. And I feel like, when it comes, I overly did it. So when you
Mm-hmm.
commit to something, you
Mm-hmm.
you it's almost like an active thing. You don't just say, "Oh, I've committed to this," and then. So from the beginning, when this whole thing started, because he would also tell me that, "Oh, this is it, man. Like, we've come a long way as friends. We're gonna seal this thing as an like a proper relationship." Basing off everything to our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I then committed in my head,
Yeah.
and because I kept compromising, those are the hardest relationships to leave, because you've given too much
Yeah.
for you to just walk out the door.
Walk
Even
away. Yeah.
if you say, "You know what, this is nonsense, I'm leaving,"
Mm-hmm.
find yourself going back because you've emotionally you've emotionally invested way too much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to explain it. That's why you find some people end up going back to situations where you ask yourself, like, come on, man. How? Until it comes to your doorstep and you're like, wow, I get it. Yeah, and I didn't really emphasize mostly on how his friends are not your friends, but because I was on serious control,
Mm-hmm.
I lost all of my friends, most of my friends, except for one who was a girl.
Mm.
I spent most of my time with his friends.
Mm.
And I really don't know how these people managed to be around me for such a long time, even the girls, and not give me a hint. Like, I know I would.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd built, sorry, a good friendships with these people, and some of them were even mutual friends from way back when.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's not everybody who the whole thing that says do to others what you would have them do to you is nice, because you'd assume that people wouldn't do stuff that you wouldn't do to them, but that's not the way the world is wired.
which is correct.
People are pursuers of self-interest, and up until we acknowledge and accept that that's just the way the world is, yeah, I think we'll easily get taken advantage of, like I feel you did in this situation.
On so many levels.
Yeah.
There was a video I was watching recently where it was like the problem is not that you have a good heart, it's how you
Mm.
let people use your good heart and how you
Oh
let
yeah.
them get away with all of these things and trying to put
Correct.
God in people's lives. Like, why are you
Yeah.
trying to please all these people that don't their life is not affected by your presence or your absence.
Yeah. Yeah. So now he's gone.
Oh, he's
He's gone.
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I've let him live his life as Batu. If he's going
Mm.
to be doing the most, I
It's
have
no longer your
I've,
business. Yeah.
I've left the chat. I think
Yeah.
I gave way too much of myself. You know, when you're not in the relationship anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and you experience something and you're like, oh my god, like something
Mm-hmm.
actually clicks in your head and says, but how did you not see this?
Mm.
How did you? The whole thing about the him calling me with another person's name, calling me Santa. It was right under my nose. Also considering that I knew he was friends with Santa. He even came to me at some point telling me, Santa is stealing my ideas. You know, these people who do social media a lot, like, she's stealing my ideas. How do you spend so much time with someone and then they come and they do all of this? So when he was fighting with her, he'd come and vent to me, but indirectly without telling me that they have started a marriage. They started a family.
Wow. Now you dodged the bullet. Dodged the bullet. It was loaded with dishonesty, but that one thing where somebody doesn't formally ask you to be a girl, it's a big problem. You know, it allows people to layer their situation with things and use the get out of jail free card that says, well, we're not an item anyway.
Well,
you know. But yeah, thanks for sharing your story there, Fanta. And just to play back your lessons. Number 1, learn that trust is earned. Number 2, if you force things, you'll be forced to learn the hard way. Yeah, I kind of felt that right from the beginning. Not sure. And then number 3, your family and loved ones always know when something isn't right. 100%. Number 4, his friends are not your friends. Couldn't be said better. Number 5, always look out for yourself. Work on yourself. You are a priority. Number 6, speak up. Yeah, you've really needed to speak up a lot more often, eh? And then last but not least, number 7, work on your traumas to avoid being triggered. Couldn't have said that any better. You guys have been listening to another episode of The Feeling Station. I'm your host, Tinto, and I look forward to catching you in next weekend's episode. Peace.
Tell me what you're feeling.
Satis on Daro Raini and Chake Zain.
Tell me what you're feeling. Now that it's over.
Satis on Daro Raini and Chake Zain.
Let me talk about my feelings. Let me talk about my feelings, yeah.
Urudoi motor no to kujiziro amai.
Kujiziro amai. Love is a fire.
Urudoi motor no to kujiziro amai.